This is a sparring program, similar to the programmed reality of the Matrix. It has the same basic rules like gravity. What you must learn is that these rules are no different than the rules of a computer system. Some of them can be bent, others can be broken.
Is it possible that we live in a hologram that we could alter if we knew how to do it? When you observe the world around you, it seems solid and unchanging. But what if reality were not as rigid as it appears? What if you could alter reality with your mind to shorten the manifestation time of your desires and live a life more aligned with your purpose? If this were possible, there should be evidence, accounts, and proof. Are there any? In the next few minutes, we will explore the nature of reality and psychic phenomena, focusing on the fascinating theory of the missing Dr. Jacobo Grinberg. We will uncover our crucial role in creating reality and unveil the mysteries that might lie behind what is commonly known as miracles. At the end of the video, I will share the meditation practice used by Grinberg, which could help you manifest your deepest desires and connect with the divine. I hope this information helps and contributes to your expansion of consciousness. Supernatural phenomena and psychic powers. The idea that matter and the laws of nature can be manipulated is not new. Throughout history, there have been documented cases of individuals defying the laws of physics. Many are the gifts described by various people and cultures, such as clairvoyance, telepathy, precognition, spiritual healing, or even levitation. In traditions like Hinduism, siddhis, supernatural powers attained through spiritual practice, are a recurring theme. Ancient texts, like Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, describe how meditation, yoga, and other spiritual disciplines can lead to extraordinary abilities such as levitation, telepathy, and control over matter. Examples of psychic powers in history. One of the most famous examples of supernatural powers in Christianity, besides Jesus Christ, is Saint Joseph of Cupertino, a 17th-century Neapolitan friar. During his religious ecstasies, it is said that Saint Joseph entered a state of such deep communion with the divine that his body would levitate, remaining suspended in the air for several minutes. These episodes frequently occurred during Mass, in front of astonished witnesses. His ability was so remarkable that it drew the attention of the Inquisition, which recognized him as a true mystic. Another renowned case of levitation is found in Tibetan Buddhism, with Milarepa, an 11th-century yogi and poet. It is said that Milarepa, after years of intense meditation and ascetic practices, achieved a state of spiritual realization that allowed him to dematerialize his body, alter matter, and levitate. These abilities were seen as manifestations of his high level of enlightenment. Jacobo Grinberg, the mystery of reality. But how does science approach these phenomena? This is where Jacobo Grinberg, a Mexican neurophysiologist and psychologist, comes into the picture. In 1994, at the height of his career, he mysteriously disappeared. Numerous hypotheses about his whereabouts circulate online, and an aura of mystery surrounds both his life and his disappearance. The most substantiated theories include a crime of passion and possible kidnapping by undercover CIA operatives. In 2020, filmmaker Ida Cuellar, after 7 years of research, released a documentary exploring his disappearance. It features declassified CIA documents on telepathy experiments, in which Dr. Jacobo Grinberg's name appears. I will leave a link to the documentary in the description. However, the most fascinating aspect of Grinberg is not his disappearance, but his theories on consciousness and reality. Grinberg, intrigued by the phenomenon of consciousness and deeply interested in understanding the nature of reality, believed that the human brain might hold the key to understanding the complex interactions between the mind and reality. He studied psychology at the National Autonomous University of Mexico and neurophysiology at the New York Brain Research Institute. He later earned a doctorate for his research on the electrophysiological effects of geometric stimuli on the brain. Paranormal phenomena and science. Jacobo Grinberg rose to prominence by combining his knowledge of neurophysiology with spiritual and esoteric traditions, creating a unique approach that blended science and mysticism. He was often described as a scientist among shamans and a shaman among scientists. Grinberg was particularly intrigued by shamanism, a form of spirituality based on communication with an invisible world of spirits, ancestors, and natural forces. Shamans used techniques like chanting, dancing, or consuming sacred plants to enter altered states of consciousness, which allows them to move through other dimensions or alter reality as we know it. These abilities enable them to heal diseases, influence the weather, or even predict the future. For Grinberg, the key was that, unknowingly, shamans were using their own neural fields, their individual algorithms, to interact with and modify the structure of what he called the Latis, a sort of hologram containing all the reality we perceive. We will delve deeper into this concept later. Among the many shamans he encountered and studied, Pachita stood out. She performed spiritual surgeries, conducting surgical procedures without physical tools.
Look, I'm a scientist. I have a laboratory. I study brain activity and physiology. And I was invited to witness this woman, Pachita, and her operations. What I saw there initially contradicted every concept and piece of knowledge I had about reality.
Grinberg described Pachita as one of the most astonishing cases he witnessed. Over several months, he observed her treating patients with severe issues, like diseased lungs, and demonstrated an incredible ability to perceive what was happening in the body and how to heal it. Pachita performed operations that defied medical logic, extracting diseased lungs and replacing them with healthy ones that she materialized in her hands, using only a knife and in a matter of minutes, without the intermediate steps typical of modern surgery. Grinberg tried to understand how Pachita achieved these results and concluded that she operated at a level of consciousness where reality was already created, bypassing intermediate processes. He explained that the brain, interacting with a pre-spatial information field, creates what we perceive as reality. This reality, which is the final product of a cerebral process, is not merely a mental construct, but acquires real existence. Grinberg argued that colors, shapes, everything we see exists at a particular level of reality, but not as matter itself, rather as manifestations of consciousness. Based on this idea, he proposed that Pachita operated directly at this level of consciousness, where reality was already formed. Thus, there was no need to go through intermediate processes. Pachita simply moved in a plane where the laws governing consciousness, what we call the world or objects, which are actually pure consciousness, were under her control. Imagine the reality we perceive as a living hologram, constantly changing and evolving. Humans in this three-dimensional world operate within the hologram as if the only thing that exists is its reflection, its projection. When we want to change something, we influence the reflection using the tools and options we know within that reflection. However, according to Grinberg's theory, materializations or alterations of matter by people like Pachita, Milarepa, or Jesus Christ would originate directly from the hologram, from the source of the projection. Thus, the change would occur directly and instantaneously in the projection, manifesting in matter without intermediate steps. The synergic theory and the lattice. Following the scientific method, Grinberg sought to explain paranormal phenomena through the synergic theory. which proposed that there are no separate objects, but rather an informational field of extraordinary complexity with which our brain interacts. Without conceptual obsessions, Grinberg mentioned that this field is the same as what some physicists call the pre-spatial field. And when the brain interacts with the field, it generates the space-time perception we know, with objects having form and figure. Grinberg's most notable contribution was offering a scientific explanation of how the brain, through its neural field, generates perception and gives rise to reality by interacting with an enigmatic, holographic informational field. Grinberg envisioned a subtle and primordial structure that contains all information and potentials of reality, which he called the lattice. He considered this lattice as the essence of reality, present at all levels of manifestation. This lattice or fundamental matrix could be seen as the Brahman of Hinduism, the all or great mind of Hermes Trismegistus, the omnipotent, omnipresent, infinite and eternal God of Christianity, or the Tao of Taoism. The Tao that can be named is not the true Tao. Nameless, it is the beginning of the universe. Named, it is the mother of all things. From the non-being, we understand its essence. From being, we only see its appearance. Continuing with Grinberg's theory, each human brain functions as a neuronal field that creates a mental continuum. From this continuum emerges a pattern or algorithm whose function is to interact with the lattice, selecting and discriminating the information that shapes perceived reality. Remarkably, this algorithm, according to Grinberg, is what we identify as the self or individual ego, a mental construct that provides us with a sense of identity continuity. The concept of the lattice is fundamental in the synergic theory developed by Jacobo Grinberg over the years. The term synergic comes from the combination of the words synthesis and energy, referring to the synthesis of energy. According to this theory, and many others we've explored on the channel, everything in the universe, absolutely everything around us, is energy and possesses properties like vibration and frequency. Synergy is the level of information coherence observable at a particular point in the lattice. Through consciousness, a distortion is created in this lattice, resulting in the universe we perceive. In its purest state, the lattice is free from all matter, all laws, such as gravity, and all alterations. It is a field of infinite potentiality. Any alteration or distortion of this lattice results in a decrease in its synergy, leading to the emergence of matter. It is through these distortions that humans perceive the world. Our entire perception, whether emotions, thoughts, or any other experience, is actually a distortion of this extremely complex space-time matrix we call the lattice. The greater the coherence between our consciousness and brain and this network, the higher and more complex our perception and influence on reality become. From this perspective, phenomena such as telepathy, healing, or levitation could be considered real and possible. Conversely, when coherence is low, our perception becomes more limited and simplistic, restricting our power to influence reality, the projection of the hologram. Grinberg's synergic theory is not an isolated concept in contemporary science, but connects with other theories exploring the nature of reality and consciousness in similar but different ways. Three notable examples of these theories are the holographic theory of the brain and reality, developed by neuroscientist Carl Pribram and strengthened by physicist David Bohm. This theory suggests that both the brain and reality function like a hologram, where each part contains the information of the whole. The theory of morphic fields, created by biologist Rupert Sheldrake. This theory proposes that nature has a collective memory transmitted through morphic fields, which influence the form and behavior of biological systems. the theory of biocentrism. Proposed by scientist Robert Lanza, this theory argues that life and consciousness are central to understanding the universe, suggesting that reality is shaped by conscious perception. These theories, like Grinberg's synergic theory, offer different ways to approach and understand the nature of reality and consciousness, reflecting the various ways the concept of God or the ultimate essence of reality can be explored. The truth is one, and the wise speak of it with different names. Rig Veda. In the latest edition of his synergic theory, Grinberg provides a detailed explanation of Pachita's miracles. According to him, Pachita was able to generate a neuronal field in complete coherence with the lattice, the informational structure underlying our perception of reality. Grinberg stated that our perception of reality is a sequence of images that are created and disappear every 50 milliseconds, giving us the illusion of continuity. Under normal circumstances, these perceptions are fleeting, but Grinberg speculated that if someone could extend the duration of one of these perceptions, they could anchor it in the lattice, thus materializing objects or even organs. This could explain how Pachita performed her extraordinary interventions, manipulating the lattice to alter reality in a tangible way. For Grinberg, reality is not fixed, but a continuous process of creation and destruction of perceptions. By mastering this process, as Pachita seemingly did, it would be possible to materialize what normally exists only in our internal perception. This idea resembles creative visualization, where maintaining a mental image for an extended period is believed to influence physical reality. Attention plays a key role in this process, but I would also like to add faith as another fundamental component in any act of manifestation. It does not have to be faith in a specific deity, but rather in the conviction and total lack of doubt that what we wish to achieve will happen. As Jesus said, "If you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it shall move, and nothing shall be impossible for you." Matthew 17:20. Under Grinberg's synergic theory, the law of attraction and the law of assumption would make complete sense. They are not only possible, but the very foundation of reality. Typically, humans operate from a low level of coherence with the lattice, which prevents us from having a high impact on the distortion of reality at will and consciously. However, by raising our consciousness and increasing our coherence with the lattice, we align ourselves with the universe, provoking synchronicities and altering our destiny at will. Essentially, we transform the matrix of reality. But how do we increase our coherence with the lattice to have greater influence on our perception, on our reality? The first step is to fully immerse ourselves in the present moment, free from all judgment and mental conditioning. Next, I leave you with the meditation that Jacobo Grinberg used to achieve coherence with the totality, the auto-elusive meditation. It is about integrating one by one all the aspects you can perceive with your senses in order to achieve total coherence with the lattice and connect with the whole, with the source, with yourself. Here are the steps to follow. Sit or lie down in the most comfortable way possible, close your eyes, and focus on your breathing. If any thought or sensation arises, let them flow without identifying with them or struggling to make them disappear. Just return your attention to your breathing. Then scan each part of your body, from the crown of your head to your feet, as if performing a complete scan. Feel each area and then unify the perception of your body, observing it as a unit. This helps you recover your body image and reach a transcendent position. Now, combine the sensation of bodily totality with the observation of your breathing, becoming aware of both simultaneously. Do the same with the observation of your thoughts, emotions, mental images, the sounds of the environment, and your visual perception. The technique involves gradually adding and integrating step by step, and as a non-judgmental observer, each of your perceptions, both physical and mental. By achieving simultaneous observation of all these aspects, you reach a threshold where your previous self-conceptions disappear, connecting with something deeper and closer to your true essence. Upon reaching that threshold, you can use the visualization of what you wish to manifest, combining it with the law of assumption, which involves faith and the feeling that your desire has already been fulfilled. By entering a state of coherence between the brain, the heart, and the source, or the lattice, it is possible to reprogram reality directly from the source of the hologram projection, accelerating and even omitting intermediate processes in the act of manifestation, as Grinberg proposed. Before his disappearance, Jacobo Grinberg was developing another fascinating theory known as transferred potential. In his experiments, he demonstrated a surprising interaction between the brains of two people who had created a bond, such as meditating together or simply feeling each other's presence in a room in silence. When one of the people was stimulated, the brain of the other, who was in a completely isolated room, received the same stimulation. Grinberg planned to take this experiment to a new phase, in which one person would be in India and the other in Mexico. However, just before traveling to India to conduct this test, Jacobo disappeared, leaving an immense void behind him, but also a lasting legacy. Even though 30 years have passed since his disappearance, his work and his greatness as a person continue to be objects of fascination and study. That's it for today's video. I hope this information has been useful and enriching. Thank you very much for watching until the end. See you soon.